Welcome back to Nigger Chef, everybody. Thank you again for clicking on my video. On the menu today, it is broad bean and saltfish. So stay tuned and I'll jump right into the ingredients. So as you can see on the screen, I will have all these ingredients listed in the description as well, so you can check that out and the amount that I used. Okay, so first I'm gonna start by boiling my saltfish, and I'm using the boneless one. So you can use the one with the bone in or bone out. I'm using the boneless. So I'm gonna boil that for about 15 to 20 minutes. Next, I'm gonna start working on my dumpling, and I'm making carrot dumpling today. And this is what I'm pairing my broad bean with dumpling and sweet Jamaican sweet potato. All right, so I'm grating 2 large carrots into a bowl. You can get your carrot as fine as you want them. My grater did not get them as fine as how I want, but that's fine. It's perfectly fine. Now our carrot is ready, and I'm going to be adding 3 cups of flour to the carrot, and I'm going to be adding some salt to taste to that. I'm going to combine all that carrot and everything together before I add any water to it. So I'm going to just thoroughly mix all the carrot and flour together and just make sure everything is evenly combined. So now I'm going to be adding the water, and I'm using about 1 1/4 cup of water to knead this mixture. I'm just taking my time to add the water because I don't want my flour to get too soggy too fast. You know how it goes when you're kneading dumpling, right? A lot of you guys have never heard about carrot dumpling, but let me tell you guys, just try this and then leave a comment down below and tell me what you think. A lot of persons, they don't like carrot and the taste of carrot, so they'll say, I'm not going to put the carrot in my dumpling because I don't want to taste, that carrot flavor. But the dumpling doesn't even taste like carrot when it's finished. It just has a different flavor, but it doesn't taste like carrot. And you have to try it to understand what I'm trying to say. Alright, so now I'm going to be adding some salt to my water because my dumpling is ready to go in the pot. And I'm just going to make some nice little round shaped dumplings. And into the pot they will go. You also have different ways of making carrot dumpling. You can actually boil your dumpling first, and then you blend it, and then you use that water to mix your flour with. So you can do it that way as well, but I chose to do it this way. Mix those nicely together, and just don't cover your pot completely because you don't want it to be boiled over. Alright, so now I'm going to work on my sweet potato, and I'm using about 1.5 pounds of Jamaican sweet potato. Get that nice and peel. I'm going to be cutting these in about 4 because that's the perfect size that I want. I don't want to make them too fine or too big. So that size right there is perfect. I'm going to just drop these in some water so they don't change color until I finish the other potatoes. So once my potatoes are all cut, I'm going to be adding them to my dumpling, or my flour. And I'll just leave those to boil. You can boil it separate if you want. But you know, it's a Jamaican thing. We just use one stone kill two bird, you know. And I'm also not going to cover the pot completely. So now that my ground provision is on the fire, I'm going to start by getting all my seasonings together for my broad bean. I'm going in with some scallion, 3 cloves of garlic, and I'm cutting those very fine. I'm going in with some bell pepper. And I'm using a half an onion. I'm using 1 tomato. I'm also removing the seeds from the tomato. You don't have to remove the seeds. You can keep those in. This is my preference, to remove the seeds. All right, now that our prepping is finished, I'm going to be adding some oil, and I'm going to go in with my garlic and my scallion. You can just go in with your scallion first and then the garlic after, because you know garlic burns very fast. And here my fire was actually on high, so my garlic started to burn a little quicker. But this was a quick pot, and I just wanted to get this, you know, in the belly as soon as possible. So I was just skipping some steps here. But no worries. Now I'm adding the onion, and I'm going to be combining that and let that saute for a little bit. Once my onion is sauteed the way I want, I'm going to be adding some red and yellow bell pepper to that, and I'm going to combine all that together. So what you're trying to accomplish here is to make sure your oil gets all that flavor from the green onion, which is the scallion, the garlic, and the onion first before you add anything into it. So now I'm going to be adding some thyme, and this thyme was in the freezer, so that's why it has that color. And now I'm going to be adding my saltfish. So I break down my saltfish into small pieces, and you can do this the size you want. And I'm going to just combine all that seasoning with that salted fish. And here I boiled my saltfish, and it's not fresh. It has a little salt to it, but you don't want to have your saltfish too salty, right? So I'm adding a little piece of butter because, you know, saltfish tends to suck most of the oil. So a lot of the oil was, you know, already gone from the pot. So I added a little butter to put a little moisture in the pot. And you can also add a little bit more oil to it if you want, but I'm not going to add any more oil to my pot. Then I'm adding some tomatoes, and I'm going to mix that together. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my broad bean open. So guys, what's happening here? My can opener is not working, so I had to resort to the old-fashioned way. So I just open it with the knife. Not telling you guys to do this now. I just had to because my can opener was not working, and I just had to get this thing open, okay? Drain off the water because you don't want any of that water in your pot. And then you're gonna dump that into your seasoning that you have there already. Make sure everything is out of your can. And I'm going to be shaking a little water in the pan just to get the rest of, that thick bean that's left in the bottom, and I'm going to be adding that to my pot. So you want to mix that really well together. And then I'm adding some black pepper. I'm also adding a little fish seasoning. This is just for flavoring because remember your saltfish is already salty. So I'm just adding this just for flavoring. And I'm going to combine that together. If you have a Scotch bonnet pepper or any hot sauce, that would be great for this mixture as well. And I'm just going to marinate all that together. You want to leave this for about 5 minutes to simmer because the beans are already cooked. You don't want them to get overcooked. And yeah, your beans will be ready after about 5 minutes. And time to plate. For final touches, I'm just sprinkling some green onions on the top and combining that together just for some extra flavoring. And there you have it, my lovely people. This is broad bean with saltfish served up with some carrot dumpling and Jamaican sweet potato. Guys, go ahead and leave a comment down below and remember to subscribe to the channel. Thank you again, guys, for always tuning in to Negril Chef. And until next time, peace. Jamaica.